Episode 6, Difficult Decisions. About 60 miles from Astrea. Belle's words had to find their way through the wailing of sirens and distant human cries. Audrey couldn't see exactly where the plane had fallen. It was swallowed up by the tall fir trees. They gently hid everything from their sight but the thick, dark gray smoke which rose into a sky of the same color. But nature couldn't hide the terrible sounds. The sounds Audrey heard there as she stood in the middle of the road surrounded by dead birds still echoed in her mind. Audrey, it's somewhere around here. The drive to the place where Fell's relatives supposedly lived took a little longer. The endless stream of ambulances, fire trucks forced them to slow down frequently. Are you alright? Fell's awkwardly smoothed out the shirt she found in David's car. She changed the subject to avoid answering honestly. What about you? Audrey shrugged. News feeds offered some comfort. The pilots had managed to land the plane, though they were unable to prevent it from catching fire. Still, a road surrounded by trees didn't make for a good emergency landing. People were coming out of the smoke and fire. If this is the beginning, I dread to think what lies ahead. Fell pressed her lips together and took another hesitant step and then stopped. If you don't want to go any further, I understand. I'll take you back. Audrey shook her head and walked around the demon in a few confident steps. No, Fell, you have to see them now. While we still have time. They didn't waste any more time on the conversations. They walked forward in silence. The location Somnus mentioned turned out to be a city hospital. As she looked at its walls, Audrey thought about how almost all the information inside was confidential. How will we find them if we don't even know her family's new names? She glanced at Fell and followed her gaze, which was fixed on a worker. The man was slightly hunched. He was pulling out tiny weeds that had barely broken through the ground. Maybe we could use Fell's face instead of a photo. Say she's looking for the father she never knew. The man turned around as if sensing the attention. He looked at the women with sincere kindness and a willingness to help. His face was literally the answer to a question they had yet to ask. Had he seen anyone who looked like Fell? Delicate features, dangerous narrowing of the dark brown eyes. They looked so alike that only a fool could miss it. The web of wrinkles on his face led to an obvious assumption. Is that your father? Fell whispered back with a slightly trembling voice. No, but he looks a lot like him. Audrey walked towards him. When Fell didn't follow, she turned around. What do I say to him? The demon looked so helpless that even the man could feel it. He abandoned his task and walked slowly towards them. Fell, he'll feel your connection. We'll find the right words. Say nothing. He'll feel your connection. You share blood. No one can change that. Can I help you? His eyes kept drifting to the pale Falloon, but he spoke to Audrey. She cleared her throat, thinking fast. Don't scare him off. Hello, my friend and I are looking for someone. If you're looking for a patient, I can't help you. You'll need to go to reception. If it's a staff member, then I know everyone here by name. That was going on. What was going on in Fell's soul at the moment was anyone's guess. She remained silent, clearly trying to keep her emotions in check as she studied his familiar features. To avoid embarrassing or frightening the man, Audrey kept his focus on her. The thing is, we're not even sure who we're looking for. My friend recently learned that her relatives might be here somewhere. She hasn't seen them in many years. She hopes to find them. At that, the man looked directly at Fell. "You're looking for..." "My father." Audrey barely recognized her hoarse, defeated voice. "I see." "And 3 brothers and a sister. They disappeared about 20 years ago. All together." The man's expression changed as if by magic. He became even paler and fell. "Do you remember anything about them?" Bell answered the strange question just as cryptically. "Nothing. I only know that they exist." The man sighed heavily. Audrey took control of the conversation again. "Why did you ask that about remembering?" "Because it's the loss of it that worries me the most." Out of the corner of her eye, Audrey noticed Fell tensing. "How did you end up here?" "It's not much of a secret. For a long time, I was a patient here myself. I woke up in the woods nearby about 20 years ago. I didn't remember who I was, where I was, or what had happened. I made it to the clinic and found out I wasn't the only one. Along with me, 4 others came in with complete amnesia. 2 young men, a young woman, and an older man with a terrible injury." "An injury? What kind?" "He had no eyes." At that, Fell flinched and turned away. The man looked at her anxiously. He said quietly, "Sorry about the details." "Yes, that was him. My father. Coincidences like that don't happen." "I'm sorry. He died a long time ago. He was tormented by nightmares that he believed were real. The doctors couldn't convince him otherwise. His heart gave out the same year we were found." "And the rest of you?" "None of us were able to recover our memories. Some found it easier to come to terms with it than others. The doctors ran tests, even though it was obvious that without them they were related." His next sentence was directed at Fell. "We all looked alike." "I see. What did the doctors say?" "So you stayed here to work. Where are the other men and women?" "I'm assuming we can ask all these, but I'll just go with the obvious." The man spread his arms and shrugged his shoulders. "They said we were all perfectly healthy. But right after that we started getting sick with all kinds of diseases, as if their words had jinxed us. The oldest man almost died of chickenpox. It turned out that none of us had any vaccinations. It was just like we had come from a sterile room into a world full of bacteria." "I see. So you stayed here to work?" "That's right. I got a job at the hospital's gardener, and because I honestly didn't know where else to go. If I had any education before, I don't remember it, and I never got around to getting any more." "I see. Where are the other men and women?" "I don't know. We don't keep in touch. We were all in a hurry to start a new life. Our story made headlines. Just imagine it, 4 young people waking up in a forest with their father whose eye sockets are empty. We were bombarded with so many possible scenarios, each one worse than the last. Everyone chose the one that suited the best and coped as best they could." "What about you?" "I chose to live in the present, and I think I'm the only one who made the right choice. Our mysterious past destroyed us, no matter how hard we tried to leave it behind. The last time I saw my brothers, they were still looking for answers at the bottom of a bottle. My sister couldn't get out of her depression." After a brief pause, the man added, "But how did you find me if you also lost your memory? You must have been just a child when it all happened?" Belle's cheek twitched, but she held back the tears that were welling up. "I just knew that you existed and that you were alive. I always knew. And then someone I know told me your story. They told me this morning, and I came right away." Her words drowned in the storm of emotions raging inside of her. Every sound was an effort. "I'm sorry, I didn't find you sooner. The man seemed to understand. He interrupted her gently and quietly. "My name is Bruce." Belle exhaled raggedly, as if finally allowing the tension to leave her body. She relaxed her shoulders and said gratefully, Felonia. And this is my colleague, Audrey. I don't know what happened to you, Felonia, but what happened to all of us. Even though my advice didn't help my family, I'll still tell you what I told all of them. Felonia, try not to live in the past, believe me, we are all much better off in the present. After a moment's hesitation, Bruce allowed himself to touch her shoulder lightly. Come by again. I'll introduce you to my wife and kids. The gray storm clouds swelled with unshed tears and threatened to burst into heavy rain. I will, thank you. Audrey flinched as the first large drop landed on her face, but she did not dare to be the one to initiate the farewell between the two newly reunited souls. After another drop fell immediately after that, nature itself seemed to be cutting the moment short. You can wait out the rain inside the hospital. Fell shook her head, unwilling to overstay her welcome. Audrey couldn't hear Fell's thoughts, but she understood them perfectly. She's afraid that if she stays close to him for any longer and opens up more, Bruce will change his mind. Our car is just around the corner. We'll make a run for it. I'll be awaiting our next meeting, Phil. Bruce smiled warmly one last time and then hurried inside. The demon watched him leave and turned to her colleague. I don't know how to thank you. I didn't do anything. You stood by me. No one has done that for me in a long time. I'll never forget it. The women walked briskly to the car. The rain urged them to move on. Just as she promised, Fell left as soon as the evaluator slipped into the car. Raindrops blurred her figure, but even through them, Audrey could see her joyful smile. For some reason, she too felt something warm spreading within her. It was as if a miracle had happened, one that no one had dared to hope for. Audrey didn't know where Fell was going or how she was going to get there, but as soon as the car started moving, she disappeared. Audrey smiled to herself and drove back to Astrea. She hoped there weren't any angry immortals waiting for her there. If you helped Fell reunite with her family, she will always be grateful for you. Audrey parked the car. She looked forlornly at the large crack in the windshield. I need to remember to fix before David wants to go anywhere. She hoped to avoid running into any immortals, so she tried to sneak into her bedroom, but Cassiel blocked her way. Are you alright? Where did you disappear to? Audrey didn't tell him that she's been with Fell. She brushed off his question, but Cassiel understood anyway. She means you no harm, but those with her do. You have to stop seeing only the good in her. All Audrey could do in response was nod. Cassiel saw how detached she seemed. He gave up and let her go. When she finally got into her bedroom, the first thing she did was shower and change her clothing. Alright, we got polo with a tie. Ooh, I like that. I like the skull tie. I actually do dig it. Yo, that might be our pick, but we'll see. Fitted blazer. Burgundy suit. I like the black. Anyway, the red accentuates it. Extravaganza. Get everything. You know, I'ma do it. Since, it's the little free shopping spree day thing. All options have been added to your wardrobe. That's great. Now can I pick what I want? I'm still gonna do it with the tie, because I dig it. I should dig the tie. She felt like choosing a new hairstyle to match her outfit. We can even choose the hair. Have all those. I'll get them all, and then I'll pick one, or maybe stay what I have, I don't know. Yeah, you don't have to do. I wouldn't want to cut her hair. I'm feeling that one, though. Don't get me wrong, the red one's kind of nice, but light even's kind of... I think I'll go with hairpins dark. Perfect. Audrey took a seat on the windowsill and opened the news feed. She scanned the top stories and braced herself for terrible headlines. But she relaxed a little when she didn't see any major tragedies with heavy casualties. Seems like things are relatively quiet for now. The most notable news article was a small piece about some unusual newborns. Reporters had documented the birth of completely white-haired infants at a local hospital. All 7 babies were born on the same day and in the same place, giving the event an air of impending doom. And then there was an increased number of malfunctions in air transport systems and some others. While none of the events sparked panic, it made her heart clench with anxious foreboding. There were even some news items that looked more like miracles. In Lima, where it hardly ever rains, there was a real downpour. It exceeded the city's average annual rainfall in a single day. Judging by the comments, people see this as good news. Only one user wrote that this doesn't bode well. I should ask the immortals what they think about this. It didn't take long for the first immortal to appear, but the quiet but persistent knocking made it easy to guess who the visitor was. A somnus at her door. A fresh shirt covered his slender frame, but Audrey still looked down at the spot where a wound had gaped not long ago. How quickly do immortals heal? May I come in? She didn't really want to let him into her bedroom, but she couldn't find a reason to turn him away. Audrey stepped aside without a word. The immortal's once smooth movements had become sharp and pained. Somnus looked around the room, not hiding his idle curiosity. He sat down on the edge of the bed. The silence didn't last long. The immortal interlaced his thin fingers on the sharp knee and spoke. Let's be honest, Audrey. Yesterday I would have preferred that you weren't here, but I can't be hypocritical and keep saying that. After all, you saved my life. After a short pause, he spoke slowly. He drew out each syllable. Thank you. She tried to detect a hidden threat in his words, but there was none. I didn't do anything. If you mean fell... You're mistaken. If Furious or Mikhail had been in your place, there would have been no conversation with Fel. Only one of us would have walked out of that room alive. But around you, they all turn into sheep, so eager not to harm the fragile human. Suddenly, Somnus laughed. For a moment, Audrey wondered if he had gone mad. It really is genius to include a mere human in the games of mortals. So insignificant that no one pays them enough mind. No one sees them as a real threat, only as something to protect. You're oh so miserable, thrown into a dangerous world where anything can kill you. And wherever godlike beings clash, a tiny louse can sneak in. Do you see what I mean? She sensed a vague threat in his words, but there was something else too. Somnus. Do you have an assignment for me? Hopefully something really important. His gaze softened slightly. You've been getting to know our world. You're growing tougher. Does that mean something to you? You've proven that you can handle anything. Though Somnus won't say it outright, you've earned his respect. But that's not why I came. There will be no more assignments, Audrey. Just advice about how to survive and play the role the world needs. How? As I said, no one sees you as a threat. So when our home is in danger, you will be the only one who is not a target. Is our home in danger? He ignored her question and continued. book is in the basement. Not in part where Felonia was poking around, but in the wall near the stairs. You will feel heat coming from the right brick. You can exit the basement without going back up into the house. In the second arch to the left, there's a passage that leads to the garden. Audrey suppressed the urge to ask exactly what he was preparing for. She nodded. I'm telling you that because I believe what Shepard said. You will help. But I also believe that you could hurt us. I don't. Pale hand rose, silencing him. Even if you don't want to be the beast's pawn, even if you certainly don't want to destroy the world, still, you may not even realize how your actions could affect the outcome of this war. To be blunt, I really do believe we should be wary of you. Yes, you are just a drop in the ocean of events to come, but you may be the one that triggers the great wave. I'm not planning anything against you. We're on the same side. I believe you, but you must be careful. You are a smart woman, Audrey. You're not so easily fooled. You don't take everything you see as face value. You draw your own conclusions. You did not go meekly to the slaughter as a child, and I know you will not now. You are a weapon of the hands of God. I don't know who is wielding you now, the beast or Shepard. Could be carrying out the will of one or the other. How do I know which one it is? I'm afraid we won't know for sure until the end. But I think that once Malik dies and the book is returned to the humans and the Chosen One, you will fulfill Shepard's will. I don't know what the beast wants from you, though. I don't feel a connection to it anymore. I won't give the book to Malik. I don't think it needs me. I mean, we haven't been having the dreams as much and the nightmares and everything else. The only thing that we have is the Malik thing going on still, so I want to go with I don't feel a connection to it anymore. That's good, but that doesn't mean it's not still inside of you. And as curious as it is, I hope we never find out exactly how you're meant to help the other side. After making sure she heard his words, he stood. I was stunned by how recklessly you ran off after Phil to dry her tears. Is her brother still alive? Yes. He believes she is his sister. He doesn't remember her, and he never will. There will be no happy reunion. Audrey didn't respond to this provocation. She kept her opinions to herself. I hope you still remember that she is our enemy. But she got what she wanted. She won't help Malik anymore. And if you had returned her family sooner, she wouldn't have helped him at all. Somnus sighed sadly. Poor naive child. Now that Phil knows exactly what she has been deprived of, she will want revenge. Would you like me to tell you what her family was really like? So you'll stop clinging to your illusions about her. Do tell me. Somnus leaned against the wall and spoke softly and slowly, as telling a bedtime story. Her father's name was Lanius, a fine warrior, but always a slave to ambition. Like most of Hell's inhabitants. In his service, he met a demon named Azrael, a vengeful, heartless creature. Those qualities attracted Lanius. He saw potential. Somnus said the last word with undisguised sarcasm. Somnus's voice is slowly killing me. Azrael dreamed of seizing the throne. Phil's father agreed to help him. He signed a special contract. He had to kill 100 souls for Asriel. In return, Asriel promised to give him everything he desired. What did he desire? The usual. Gold, recognition, love, a huge happy family, a huge house. The cruel creature dreamed of domestic bliss. Charming, isn't it? Maurice remained silent. It went well at first. Asriel listed minor pests who stood in his way. Then once he took the throne, anyone who opposed him was a victim. So her father was just a hired killer? A hired killer with a curious contract. Don't forget that, it's important here. On the surface, it looked like a simple list to which names were added from time to time. The key part is that it was nearly impossible to refuse to kill a target. If Lanius refused, the contract would take another soul in exchange. And if you recall, our demon dreamed of a big family. So, if he refused, there were plenty of potential replacements. All of them were scampering around his huge house with their little feet. Did he even have concerns about mortality? What kind of work usually assumes there aren't any? True, he didn't care who was on the list. Thus, at first, they were demons like Asriel. Even the kindest nun would have told Lanius to cut them down. No one wept for those beasts. But then Asriel began to lose his mind, a common affliction among rulers. He was afraid of losing the throne? Oh, he was. He thought it would be taken from him the way he had taken it, by force. He saw conspiracies everywhere. The names became random, meaningless. Lanius had to kill innocents who had only glanced the wrong way. Then one day his wife's name appeared. Wasn't in the mood to laugh anymore. Audrey realized that she had never really wondered about Fell's mother. Fell often mentioned her father's brothers and younger sister, but not her mother. She was a simple maid in the palace where the rulers of hell lived. She served those who came before Asriel. Lanius took her away when he fell for her, but no one forgot her origins. No wonder Asriel saw her as a threat. And Lanius killed her? No one knows. Dolores, his sweet wife, vanished. After that, poor Lanius found it even harder to continue killing. He lost all drive. He abandoned the list and stopped caring about the fate of his children. And so the eldest had to take over to keep their father from losing the whole family with his new attitude. So she was forced to continue his work, wasn't she? Forced. She should have slit Asriel's throat and broken her shackles, Audrey, not killed innocents. But apparently, some people love to serve. She joyfully traded one shackle for another. Well, she did try to break free from yours today. He appreciated the jab, he snorted. What do you want to do with a dog that bites its master's hand? Is he serious? You don't own her. She's her own person. She doesn't owe anyone anything. Oh, I see. Story has taught you nothing. Anyway, ask her yourself. Thomas was unable to change her mind about Fell. Your relationship has improved. It's because not everything is so black and white. Just saying. There are gray. And you're only seeing one side yourself. Ask her about what? About the list. The names on it. When Asriel ended up in prison, her father gouged out his eyes so he wouldn't have to show the others the horrors he had committed. But Fell looked her judges in the eye, directly and without remorse. She proudly held the faces of the dead, frozen in agony, in her pupils. He learned something interesting about Fell and the whole world she came from. Audrey was so deep in thought that she didn't know Somnus was already standing at the door. Instead of saying goodbye, he said, "Tonight we will discuss what to do about Malik and his offer." Alright. And once again, Audrey reflected on Somnus's words. He acknowledges my importance even if he doesn't want to. But what do I think about this? What do I feel? Could I really betray the Astrians? She couldn't fathom what would happen for her to suddenly side with the beast, to genuinely choose her father's side. I'd rather die than return what I survived and left behind. And, although there was no reason to suspect her, she suddenly wanted to prove that she was not to be feared. Certainly don't wish doom upon all things. I don't have wings that I can just use to fly up to heaven anyway. Audrey remembered Somnus's words about her and the humans in general. Mortals are used to fighting over other immortals. Although the Astrians have lived on Earth for some time, they have barely interacted with humans. They don't see us as a threat, which means they don't see the whole picture. And as a human, I can give them the missing pieces. She pictured herself as their leader, burdened with the responsibility of running the agency. I'm sure none of the immortals looked closely at the documents found in Malik's possession. I should go through everything the Locusts weren't able to destroy. Driven by her self-assigned mission, Audrey made her way to the boss's office. Fortunately, the Archangel was there. He was working on exactly what she planned to devote her day to. Miguel listened to her offer of help and smiled. I'll be honest, I don't really enjoy sifting through papers. It's easier to quickly dive into a mortal's mind and pull the truth out directly. And you can still do that. Leave the paperwork to me. He rose from his desk and offered her his seat. The Locust didn't manage to destroy much. The documents I've already reviewed are in boxes on the right. Got it. She didn't rush to sit in her superior's chair. She expected him to stay and work with her. But he gestured firmly for her to take his place. If you don't mind, I'll leave you to it for a while. Make yourself at home. She froze, startled, but the moment he closed the door behind him, the awkwardness vanished. After all, he left me in his office. What more could I ask? Audrey thought about where to begin. She examined the boxes carefully. I'll start with the ones on the right, half-eaten boxes on the left, intact boxes on the left. I guess we'll do with intact boxes on the left, question mark? Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, no, I'm gonna go with actually half-eaten. Yeah, no, we'll go though. The Judah papers were a mess. Not all the letters were visible. Information had been ripped out in chunks. However, there was logic to the chaos. He identified the boxes containing interesting information on the first try. Okay, I guess that was a thing. Have the insects been destroying really important information? To test her theory, Audrey peeked into the least damaged box. It was filled with reports of Malik's receptionist, pure bureaucratic tedium. So, what exactly were you trying to hide from us? She was disappointed to discover some papers were beyond salvaging. She focused on those in the worst condition. And though it took effort to read through them, her persistence paid off. In front of her lay miraculously preserved folders packed with detailed information on specific individuals. After flipping through them quickly, Audrey determined that they hadn't been Malik's patients. Something much deeper connected them than the professor's curiosity. Well, let's see what the internet says about you. Audrey now read every word closely. She began to look up the names online. In a way, the results didn't even surprise her. Almost all the people staring at her from their tiny, clipped-on photos were dead. Murdered. What did Malik want from them? The last victim had lived in France. Her stomach twisted at the realization. When Malik said he was traveling for business, was he flying there to kill someone? The date on the phone call matched the date of the murder. After going through almost every folder, Audrey finally found a new few about people who were still alive. She wasn't even sure why, but she took pictures of the man's file. It seemed like a big deal. She mentally noted his height. It's an impressive number. Every page had the same phrase on it, member of the Order. They were all part of an organization that Malik was hell-bent on destroying. It was clearly an elite group. Almost all of its members stood out among the ordinary people. The dates kept going back and eventually started to look like a joke. BC. Just how old is this order? When she reached the end, Audrey found a complex list with numerous branches. Locations of the book. Each address has been crossed out down to the last one. The Order was protecting the Book of the Apocalypse, and Malik killed all of them? The realization of what the professor was capable of doing for the sake of the book, and the fact that did now sent a chill down her spine. He's going to kill us all. Dazed, Audrey stared at the surviving member, who had caught her attention. A handsome, tall man with aristocratic features. Apparently, he was the head of the nearly annihilated Order. Why didn't Malik kill him? Did he not have time? Well, clearly he found the book, so what's the point? And why isn't this man looking for the book if its safety is his direct responsibility? Audrey was engrossed in her study of strange information. She didn't notice the return of the office's owner. Mikhail cleared his throat to draw her attention. He asked, "Did you find anything?" Audrey handed him the folder. She shared her assumptions about the significance of the people detailed within. He was even able to shed some light on the files. "You can trust the members of the Order, though as far as I know, there are hardly any left alive. A long time ago, Shep entrusted the Book of the Apocalypse to them for safekeeping. Angels descended to Earth that day. They kept coming back for quite a while." And humans knew about this? "It was a very long time ago." Interesting. Alright, did you ever reach out to them? How were people chosen for the Order? Is it really safe to let humans guard the book? I mean, clearly up until now, it's been fine. Did you ever reach out to them? "We had other tasks. As Shep instructed, everyone had their own mission." Interesting. "I believe that the first sacred knowledge given to the founders of the Order was passed down through bloodlines." Wow, very, very simple questions and answers. As far as I can tell, they're all dead now, and with enemies like that, it's only a matter of time. "The book was written for humans and should remain with them. That is what Shep had foretold." So what do we do with it now? "Now, we know who is supposed to translate it. We just need to figure out how to protect the Chosen One. And right now, our best option seems to be destroying the beast and its offspring. If you're done here, we can move to the living room. Everyone will be meeting there soon to discuss our next steps." Alright, I'm ready to go. He helped to tidy up the office. He carefully stacked the boxes out of the way. When they were done, they both headed to the living room. The meeting wasn't quite complete. David and Raphael were absent. Cassio sat in the far corner. He was more gloomy than usual. Furious, on the other hand, looked unusually lost. That's a first for him. He kept looking from Somnus to the grim demon. Is he worried about Cassio's loyalty? "Now that we're all here, let's begin." Far more nervously than the situation called for, Audrey asked, "Where's David?" "Your sweetheart is fine. He's busy. He'll be here soon." "And before we begin, I want to thank you, Audrey." She almost choked with surprise. Did I hear that right? You subdued that creature while we were gone, and you could have just stayed silent. Somnus saw something in you for a reason, but I was blind. Now, I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm glad to hear it. Nod silently. Thank you? Question mark? Audrey forced a smile to make her gratitude sound convincing. She was utterly confused when she received one in return. Him smiling. Oh boy. Your relationship has improved slightly, because that matters. Although it wasn't really necessary to go with her to God knows where. You are lucky that Phil was, and still is, a traitor. Apparently even to the beast. If we're done with that, let's return to Malik and his offer. Audrey braced herself for elaborate tactics and strategy, but his answer stunned her with its simplicity. We'll accept it. Wait. What? We'll give him the book? We'll send you to his church. Audrey wasn't sure what to say. She fell silent, hoping the Archangel would explain his hidden meaning. You will distract him. As you do that, we'll capture him. She didn't want to look like a coward, but she didn't want to look like a fool either. She asked, Is this safe? If Malik wanted you dead, he would have killed you long ago. He could have kidnapped you 100 times by now. The beast needs you alive. That much is clear. I suspect that if the ritual is still relevant, they've already chosen another victim. But I'm going without the book, right? Right. Your job is to buy his time, to distract him by talking. As we all know, Malik loves to talk. Give him what he craves. Think of something to discuss with him. Keep me busy for an hour. I'm sorry, an hour? Bro, 15 minutes max, an hour? Alright. That time will set the trap. I think I can talk to him about Astrea. The subject of his mother seems important to him. Audrey chewed her lip nervously. She tried to think of what else she could bring up. Take your time. Think it through. We'll leave tomorrow. Unfortunately, we can't put this off any longer. Malik is weak now, but he's regaining strength. How exactly are you going to catch him? Somnus will cover the church with a dome to hide our energy. The others will fuel it with their power. When there is enough, the dome will implode. Implode? Meaning, try to kill everything within? It's a trap for his energy alone. Ideally, we'll deprive him of his power for a while. Then, while we're all weakened, Cassiel will bind him in chains. And after that? We won't kill him right away, Audrey. We have too much to learn from him. Right now, the most important thing is to catch him. Alright, I understand. Splendid. Somnus smiled at her and then turned to Mikhail with a serious expression. Spoke to heaven, but as always, everyone just brushed us off. It's not surprising. Nothing out of the ordinary is happening. It's quiet on Earth. At least I don't feel any changes. Plane falling from the sky, I'm sure more than one. Nature going berserk, okay. And then everything that happened with the beast and whatever the hell he is. Okay, alright, weird, alright. What are they talking about? Interrupt the conversation. Audrey drew their attention by quietly clearing her throat. Actually, there are some changes happening in the world. I mean the plane crash. That too, but not quite. Things are still peaceful, but there are reports online that systems are malfunctioning. It's not just planes, it's technology in general. Of course, since there haven't been any casualties, it's not getting major coverage, but I still like to take it into account. I'm not taking that to heaven. Maybe your heavenly bureaucracy will care about the birth of a white-haired babies? They don't have, albinism, and it's not a genetic mutation. They were all born in the same place at the same time. Sounds pretty strange to me. On top of that, there were a downpour in the city where it almost never rains, and I think it's still going on. I don't know about you, but we tend to treat such events with caution. The birds, woman, the birds. You forgot to mention the birds. Everyone was silent for a moment as they considered her words. It's not enough, but it's something. It certainly matters, Audrey, thank you. It's a shame that the surges are so minor that we don't even feel them. But someone the size of a loose is about to spot them. What? I'm sorry, the size of a what now? I don't know what that means. Somebody smiled at her jab. I hear you, Audrey. I will tell the heavenly office that a little birdie whispered this news to me. And what's going on in hell? Excuse me. Somnus's voice kills me. God help me. Same as in heaven, everyone is wrapped up in their own problems. The immortals never change. Adults chase power. Children go to school. Everyone's shoving peace and idle down their throats, the same idyll that war almost robbed them of. But I think they will soon remember our words. The fragile world will shatter. Audrey said, well, one thing she took away from this conversation out loud. So no one will help us? No one. You would think that this is something that's important to Sheppa, but I guess he's just here to watch. I don't know. Explain it to me like I'm a toddler. But why? Because they don't want to believe that another nightmare will follow so soon after the last. They think the worst is behind them, that there's nothing left to fear. But the truth is that they haven't even been scared yet. Ringing silence all over the room, Audrey tried to shake her creeping dread. She latched on to another strange phrase. There's a school in heaven. There is, by the way. If you hadn't got tangled up with the beast and its spawn, you would have had a chance to get in. Audrey wasn't sure if he was joking. She stared at Mikkel questioningly. What do you mean, get in? For some reason, Mikkel didn't find the subject nearly as amusing. He replied with a kind of tragic gravity. You're not getting in. And we don't think you'll get into hell or heaven either. What? Where the hell do I go then? This unexpected revelation, which she hadn't even asked for, left her stunned. Not that I was planning on going anytime soon, but what's the purpose, or what's that supposed to mean? You're connected to the beast. To Malik. We believe that when you die, you'll end up in his army, like all souls connected to him. The absurdity of the claim made her want to laugh. So when I die, I'm going to join an army instead of going to school? I'll become one of Malik's writhing masks. That's not something my father told me about. But you still have him to thank for that. We're not mocking you or joking around. As soon as Malik set foot on Earth, a great number of mortal souls stopped coming to us. Not enough to alarm the heavens, but he clearly has some kind of power over them. What nonsense. Until now, Cassiel had been silent. Suddenly he spoke. We'll get answers from him once we catch him. Maybe his death will be enough to free you and the others. The curious conversation was interrupted by the loud slam of the living room door. We apologize for being late. I'm sorry, what are you wearing? David beamed and pushed a man forward. He was familiar to Audrey. Everyone meet Adam Villoni, a longtime friend of our darling Malik Sinner, and conveniently the only follower of the beast who is currently available to us. Villino held his chin high, cast an appraising glance over everyone in the room. Good evening. So, do we listen to the man, or do we just gouge his eyes out right now? Cryptic bullshit! 4 stars, I'm giving you 4. I know it's not really the writer's fault, but... Come on, there's a lot of things I wanted to know. Anyway, 1 faith, 3 reputation, diamonds. I hope you enjoyed the content. I've already done this, leave me alone. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Okay? Also, leave a comment down below, letting me know your thoughts. Hey, I asked some heavy-hitting questions in there. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. It'd be appreciated. We're just 4 episodes away. I don't know if there's a season 4. Let me know. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. Forward to the conclusion or whatever. Unless there is a season 4, which then just keeps going, doesn't it? Anyway, aside from that, do remember that I'm still playing catch up with this stuff. I do know, pretty much, let me quote it here, that, so I'm kind of curious, there's like Heaven's Secret, right? I don't know if that plays into this. Some of you have left comments in the past about it. I know there is an update coming on the October 23rd to the 25th, somewhere in that window. I stay oblivious to that. We do have a community in the Discord if you guys want to join. They talk about such things as well as share things, so, you know, you can always be staying up to date with that stuff as well, but, yeah, no. Still waiting on Love, Sin, and Evil, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's air quote, due to the author's personal reasons, which, can I be honest with you? Can we talk about your personal reasons? Like, I would love to hear why you haven't put out any more episodes for that book that I love so much. And it's actually, wasn't it like one of the first books I started with too? So, like, yeah, no, we've been waiting for like, I want to say over a year, correct me if I'm wrong. Seriously, come on now. Bring me the book. Anyway, aside from that, let me know how all of you are doing, but I'm going to be honest with you, Somnus is doing his voices. It's super rough, right? So in case you guys are like, well, he must use some software.
I don't know what to tell you, but I do not use any software, okay? This is all my voice, okay? I'm just going to go ahead like this.
I'm just serious. I literally do this stuff on live stream. Literally where people can see my mouth moving and like my hands are up, right, when I change my voices. Literally this is all my voice. This is all talent. So I'm just saying that. Not one voice is ever edited by any software whatsoever. And I know that like people have heard me in like person and they're like, holy crap, that does no justice. Like, or your recordings and doing the voice acting or anything else that you do on YouTube does no justice towards, like, being in person and hearing it. It's, like, completely different. Like, it's better. Because, unfortunately, we're using, like, subpar stuff, right? Other people who do actually do voicing and everything else professionally and actually make this their job. Right now, I'm just doing this for you guys as entertainment. I've been trying to do voicing for a while now. And do something, like a big project or a job, but never pans out. So, yeah, you know, I just thought I'd share that with you. If you're interested, you're interested. If you don't, you don't. So again, I'm trying to play catch up. Keep in mind, though, if you do love, spooky stuff, right, it is October. I'll be streaming quite a few, of those types of games, right? Starting, oh, look at that! Today's October 1st. So, literally and figuratively, we'll be starting that. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Love your beautiful faces. Catch you all later. Peace out.